Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, look.
Ready.
Rainy day. All right.
Hey, y'all.
All right. Just let me know you want me to turn the song down.
Friday.
I don't hear it.
Peace. Okay.
I hope it ain't too loud. It's about to kick right in.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Cheers.
Oh,
Yes.
why'd you do that? Oh.
There we go.
Hey, y'all. Grand rising, grand day.
Good
Hello,
afternoon.
Royal Souls.
Good
It's your king
afternoon.
and queen, Janae and Q. Uncut Rose.
Uncle Rose is in the building,
Whoop,
y'all.
whoop. This
Friday,
our,
it's gloomy Friday, right?
it is gloomy outside. It's
Like
rainy,
yesterday.
it's cold.
Right after Halloween.
But that don't stop nothing,
It
right?
don't stop nothing.
It don't stop nothing.
Don't stop nothing.
So today is our episode 3. Celebrate every accomplishment,
yes.
every milestone, everything you like the small and the big things.
Yes,
So
yes.
episode 3 to many others might not be much, but to us,
Man.
it's something to celebrate.
Started
So
from the bottom.
shouts out to that. If you don't know or not familiar with Uncut Rose, let us, enlighten you a little bit. Just a little bit. Our mission statement is assisting troubled families by creating healthy conversations to help build strong foundations within the homes of families globally. And that is what we do. Healthy conversations about anything. Today, before we get to our positive quote, we have a special guest.
Who is this person?
I cannot wait to show. Oh my gosh, y'all! We have done our homework on this queen.
Oh man!
And we are so honored to have her share time and space with us. And her name is Anderson. She is the founder of Love Logical. DNA is not required in all caps.
Welcome, Michelle.
Hello. That's DNA not required.
DNA not required.
And she got it on.
We thought we was doing something with the November 6th shirt. That's it.
Detroit. It's all about Detroit.
Can y'all show that shirt too?
Yeah, can you show our live
viewers?
Detroit.
We go Facebook Live and Live every Friday.
They're on my website.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They're one of those.
Absolutely. Our positive quote before we go further is life is, we all know that it's super powerful.
Can you repeat that, please?
Life is only as good as the people you get to share it with.
All right.
Darren Chris.
I like that.
Yes. It is as good as you want it. Like and who you surround yourself around. What that energy looks like and feels like around you, what those conversations are about with who's around you. So yes, life is as good as those you surround yourself with. Absolutely. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much for having me here today. I am just so happy to be here.
Oh.
I didn't expect to be live.
Uh-oh.
I would have put
Yes.
some makeup on.
Natural beauty is always fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We don't have. I have none. I don't even own makeup.
The only makeup she had on was our wedding. Yeah.
That was actually, I saw the wedding pictures online. They're beautiful.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you so much.
So tell our audience what it is. What is Love Logical? Who are you? What is Love Logical about?
I am the egg of Phyllis and the seed of Lonnie.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's go.
Born and raised here in Detroit, Michigan.
Woo woo.
Love Logical is in my veins. My parents actually had a love story from how they met. When they married, my father became a Love Logical father to my brothers and my sisters. I didn't even realize that my father was not their biological father until I was like, 7 years old. And because my father was he was a dad. He was a dad to everybody.
Say that again.
He was a dad.
So it wasn't step.
No, my mother. No.
Touch on that.
My mother said that nobody was stepping on anyone in her family. So there was no step in our family.
That was so profound to me and him when we read that on the site. I'm like, oh, I have.
Yeah.
This is exactly. Let me read it exactly how it was put on the site. There was no step parents in our home because no one was being stepped on in any way. And I love it. Oftentimes, that's all you hear now.
Man.
You do.
It's awful.
And sometimes when you hear people say my stepson or my stepdaughter, it almost makes you cringe the way that they say it because it lets you know that they don't have a logical heart.
It's a separation.
It's a separation. And anytime you blend, or if you're even in a relationship with someone with a child, you have to love that child as you love the parent.
Right.
And you love your own. Because if you're feeling any animosity toward that child in any way, shape, or form,
it's going to be felt.
Right.
It's going to
can't
come
work.
to fruition.
It can't work. It's going to come to heart. It can't work.
Definitely. Oh,
I'm going to do something that I know I'm learning from the millennials, guys. I'm about to go. I'm going to actually, I'm looking how to go live here on my Facebook page.
Absolutely. Just hand me your phone. Oh, you got it. You got it.
Be patient with me. I'm learning. I'm learning.
So, in regards to you growing up in a blended family, tell us, more about your experience as a blended family.
Okay. No, it's good.
Okay. Well, actually, growing up in a blended family, I didn't feel that way because my brothers and sisters are my brothers and sisters. We don't have half in our family in any way, shape, or form. Even to this day, my parents are both gone, and I've lost two siblings. But my brother and my sister, Bobby and Denise, they're my brother and sisters. We've never seen each other as half.
Right.
When my mother passed away, my father was friends with my mother's ex-husband.
Yeah, that's
and that was that's something that you just don't get.
And that's how it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be.
We both actually have a background in blended families before we became one. I know that I can experience that or say that second nature because my dad had Sue before he married my mom and she had me before they married. So I don't think I realized that, we got different, well, actually I did a little younger because they used to leave during the weekend and go back home. So I think that conversation came about okay, so why do you leave every weekend? What's going on? So that conversation brought up, what reality was. But my biological father, I didn't meet him until I was 16.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. But you couldn't tell me my daddy.
Wasn't
my daddy is my till this.
Your daddy.
And
my finger.
I sure would. In a heartbeat because he accepted me as his own, and then him and my mom had two more. But like, you couldn't tell me my brother and sister are not my brother and sister. I've never ever had addressed them, acknowledged them, brought them up in conversation ever as step have my daddy's kids. Now I've got that, not from them necessarily, but just from family that don't get it. Oh, that's Latandra's daughter, or that's like that separation, and it does hurt. It cuts more than people realize. It cuts.
Are you ready for this?
Shoot, let's hear it.
My mother's ex-husband used to have dinner with us.
Wow.
I used to go and play with my brothers and sister siblings.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
I wish I wish we could say that, but with that negative limelight on, not being able to see that, and that's why, like, him and I, we are in a blended family right now. We had two before, and I had one. And the mom, like, we're a unit with our 9-year-old biological father and his wife. They're married. So it's like we've done functions together, we've done birthdays together, and it's no animosity. It's never been no hostility. Like, hey, we a family right now. So this is what it is. But I've seen that. I didn't experience that growing up. My mom and my sister's mom, like, it was a whole lot of that other, that ugly era. And then I've experienced it now being with him, and it does not feel good, because when you think about it, you want that friendship with who's around your child. You want to say, it does. Everybody, like, all right.
It makes a difference.
Everyone should be on the same page.
I was talking to someone yesterday because I was saying his, mine, and theirs. And someone was saying, well, what does that mean? My son has a brother, with his dad. And that is also my daughter's brother, even though they don't share any DNA.
Right. And it don't matter.
David is my daughter's brother. At one point when she was 15, she couldn't even go to the skating rink unless David was there. Her brother was there. And the first time she went to the skating rink, she says, because she was with her friends, and she texted me and said, Mom, my brother's here. So I knew she was safe because David was there.
Wow.
When David was born, me and his mom, we didn't have a very good relationship because she didn't want to embrace me the way I embraced her.
It's so hurtful.
But when David was born, me and my son went to Toys R Us. We filled up a basket of stuff. We put it in one of those bike bags because there was so much stuff. We drove to Detroit from Kalamazoo.
Wow.
And we brought the stuff to her.
Wow.
Now that David's older, my son's older, my daughter's 17. Now David's mom, she embraces me now. We've had our apologies. She has a good relationship with my son now, because now she realizes,
it was
that right. I'm open to so many people. When I meet people and say that I have relationships with exes and exes' children, and I've maintained these relationships, they're like, why? Why not? Because when you come into a child's life, you don't just step out.
Right.
You don't do that. But just to share more with my family, as I grew, my brothers and sisters were 10 to 15 years older than me.
Wow.
So I'm definitely the baby of the family, and they still treat me like I'm 16 sometimes. But they moved out, they got married, they moved on with their lives. So we had this big house on Chalmers south of Jefferson. So my mother decided that she wanted to do something, and at first she did daycare, and then she found out about foster parenting. So then my mother became a foster parent. My parents did. And it's so cool that I grew up in a house with children who were in the foster system, and I saw good and I saw bad from these kids. But my mother was the original Love Logical queen to me.
Wow.
She was, because imagine, my mother was hardcore. She would
cry,
but she would cuss you out and hug you at the same time. But she would take these kids coming in our house, and sometimes they come in and they just have trash bags. They have grocery brown paper bag, grocery bags back then, or tattered things. And mama would actually, she would have them sit down and they would sort the stuff. You know, they would sort, you know, what they wanted to keep because it meant something to them and what they wanted to get rid of. And if they wanted to get rid of everything, that was fine. And then she would take them to Sears and Roebuck in Highland Park. Y'all too young to know about Sears. Okay. Yeah, Sears and Roebuck in Highland Park. I don't know why Sears to this day. I never know because she's gone. But she would get them what they call it suited and booted.
Okay.
You got school clothes, play clothes. You got weekend clothes. You had school shoes, play shoes, weekend shoes, underwear, undershirts, socks, everything that they possibly could think of. The kitchen became the hairdresser.
Wow. Absolutely. Those were the days.
Yep. My dad took the boys fishing. It also took us girls sometimes too, but that gave him a young son. Yeah. And my Love Logical brothers and sisters, I see they're not online yet. Oh yes, Morris is online. Okay, hey Morris. And Morris actually was one of the children that was in our home as a young boy.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I don't see Taronda online yet, but Taronda lived with us too. So we have a relationship now. They're my brothers and sisters too.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Go ahead.
It plays a huge part. I mean, even to start off and affecting us from a child to get older, was whatever is cut off, all we have is a memory, and then wishing that we can grow and continue life with the ones we started with. And when I reflect back and I look at the people that I met in my life coming up, and then I'm like, wow, I moved around so much and left pieces of me and pieces that I was supposed to continue to grow with, and that's why we love what you do and how far your story. So
applaud. Yeah, like even how you say your mom, like I saw my mom firsthand. Even my experience in blending was like that struggle experience, but still that rose out of concrete love in spite of because of child support. And I saw that end of I'm gonna be honest, I hate child support in any way, shape, or fashion. I simply feel like it shouldn't take the government for you to step up and be a parent or support yours. And if not, then, you know, I never went after my child's like, hey, you either gonna be there because you're gonna get the worst end when they grow up. That's your payback. Like, do you have a relationship with them or not? I feel like that's something you can't put a price on. But growing up, my siblings, they would come over every weekend, sometimes for weeks at a time, the whole summer. Sometimes they lived with us and child support was still going out. And that took out from the home of my mom and dad. And honestly, I can honestly say finances was the reason of their divorce because they're divorced now. And I was so hurt because I'm like, y'all made it this. I'm like,
but you two are young enough to be my children. So let me, I'm going to give it to you from a different perspective. Okay. Because I was fortunate. My son's father only paid me $40 a week from the time I never went back for an increase because it was like, if you're going to do what you're going to do.
Right.
Okay. But at the same time, that money helped my son because my son had a learning disability. He had a special rare form of dyslexia where he didn't recognize vowel sounds. That money actually went toward the $25 an hour that it cost me to get his tutoring.
So I get that.
But then some people really need that money, and there's some that don't. But there's so many that take advantage of it and use it in the wrong way that it gets a negative connotation, kind of like that step. That word step.
Yeah. And I'm not like growing up, those like money would be sent since they were living with us. At one point, I remember this so vividly, and I can feel the pain of what my mama was feeling then. Now that I'm older and I'm in it myself, but it was money that would go out. They're living with us now. They're in school. We're all going to school together.
And you're still paying.
And they're like their mom is. She would send them money back, and now they have money to go to the mall, get brand new shoes, brand new clothes, all this, and yet what's being taken from home, we're barely making it to have meals.
I get it.
We're barely making it to have just the basic necessities. And
that happens in a lot of families.
It's way more popular now to take it,
Yeah.
like, to see women take advantage of it,
Yeah.
where they don't need it. It's just
Yeah.
spite. It's
Right, just
getting
'cause.
back, or like now
should've been
it
in
going
those
straight to the kid, and you know that, and
That
it's helping us
that
to
I don't
complete
agree with. I'm
difference.
with you on that one
And it
because
didn't take the
it has to
government,
go
I'm
to the
sure,
kid.
probably for him to just want to do that. Some guys now put themselves on it simply because they don't want the
Right.
the taking advantage of portion, and
I
it's
think that
sad.
I think that a daddy, even if they do have to pay, they're still going to be a dad.
They have no
Unfortunately,
choice.
child support is how some dads are dads in their minds. That's all they
Right.
do.
And that's sad too.
And some do have to be forced. But you got to think of the positive things that come from that at times. Like my son, when he became old enough, I gave it to him.
Mm-hmm.
That helped him put gas in his car. It helped him with his car
Was
insurance,
his dad
but
in his life?
not consistently.
So that's
Not
so
consistently.
those dads.
Yes.
So those dads who are
Yes.
present,
Yeah, that's
and
a
then having
difference.
their,
That's a difference because I've
dynamic.
seen
Now
some
those that aren't
bad
there,
dads.
I get it. But those that are there, I saw my dad there. Like if they needed that, there, I see this man, my king, there.
Gone King.
So he's
You
there.
can see him
He's
blushing.
present.
If anyone can see him, he's actually blushing.
He is present, and like
You gonna put me on blast? Like,
I saw his heart before, like his heart
I'm like,
not
what?
only with his kids but other kids. Like we share that love for children, because it takes a village.
That's why you're doing
It
what. That's
takes
why
a
you're doing what
village.
you're doing.
Period. So to not think about who's getting affected, the kids is what's hurtful, because it's like as adults, we're adults, we should get this.
But you know what's
take,
you know what's good about the Love Logical though? It goes back into it's extended, blended, foster, and adopted. So it goes back into the DNA not required. So there are so many men out here who are mentoring and raising children that are not biologically theirs. And let's give a shout out to those brothers and those men who are out there, because
and step
that's
up and do it. Even
they
though
step
they're
up
not
and do it.
required to.
I have a friend who met a woman when she was pregnant. My nephew met his wife when she was expecting another man's child. And I've seen men raise children from birth who they knew were not theirs, but they love the woman, so they love the child.
Same applies flip, because it's a lot of women out here as well.
Yes.
And I feel like it's almost harder because guys don't really have that conflict. It's like, it's just not as much as women. I guess that'll probably be the fairest way to say that. Most women feel like it's a competition, or you're trying to take mommy role. And some dads feel that same, but it's not argumentative as much as it is with women.
I think it depends on the age.
Yeah, I think
it depends on the age.
Maturity.
Yeah, and it depends on because you got to think of the pride that a lot of men have too.
Yeah.
So it takes them a minute. I think that they just don't dwell in it as long.
Because I mean, when we met, he was having a baby. Like I've been in our youngest since he was born.
Oh, that's awesome.
And shout out to the mothers too, who out here accepting children as their own.
Yes.
And it's not an easy task either way, whether it's dad or mommy role. It's not easy. It's not easy at all.
And especially the adjustment to a brand new relationship in the midst of your background, my background. Because the way she was raised and the way I was raised, my wire and her wire, now is they gonna cross wires, or gonna meet in the middle, or are we just gonna adjust to it? Like, how do you go about growing now with this brand new blended family?
It's still about making that foundation right, and if everyone's not on the same page, it's difficult.
Respect.
Yep,
Right.
respect.
It boils
is the
down
core
to
of it
respect.
all.
It boils down to
Respect is
respect. You know, and I'm going to take it here because this is something that I always say is in the Bible. A lot of people look at, you hear that a woman is to respect her husband as a husband is to love his wife. And I'm not trying to spin it, but I always say that as long as a woman has respect for the person who she's dealing with,
she's gonna love him like
she's gonna love him, but she's gonna also love those people who she respects as much. So if us women, if we would learn to just respect each other, then that everything else
else
will
fall in place.
A woman has to respect first, because we love based on our level of respect. A woman will love her man, she love her fellow person, her friends, because she respects them.
Yeah.
A man has to have the love first in order to give that deep level of respect.
So on that too. Love and respect.
Yes, let those men learn how to, bond together, because if they both love that child,
that's all that matters.
That's all that's gonna come.
You're not in this child's life to harm them, to do anything negative. At the end of the day, as long as you're taking care of mine, and you're not disrespecting her, abusing her, giving her advice that's not, conducive to her growth. Hey, we all good. And that's
but also know who you're taking your kids around.
Absolutely.
Give them. Take a chance to get to know the person before you start blending the families and everyone together.
That's the way I was raised. You always make sure your relationship with who you starting a new relationship with before you even involve the kids.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 months or at least a decent time frame that you think that we growing or we just dating or just this, but until you involve the kids. Once the kids get involved, it's like,
now I know
it's a different situation.
Oh man, now it's kids. Now we gotta stick with this relationship for the kids. Now my daughter, now my son has met you. Now it's like, damn, what? Okay, well, we can't do this to the kids. So it's like, so then we're not trying to end up being in a longer relationship than what we should be due to the kids. So that's.
And let me touch bases. I'm not sure. Do you listen to Steve Harvey Morning Show?
I do. I like Steve Harvey.
Okay, so did you catch shout out to Steve Harvey? Yes. It's silly behind.
He's Love Logical. He has Love Logical organizations. He's got a blended family. He is. He's a Love Logical. I admire him.
And they had a prank call this past week, and it basically was a prank. They were pranking the wife of this, with this husband. He had child support. So they pranked her. Did you catch that one?
No.
Okay,
but
so
I
they pranked
already.
her.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, so your husband he's back on his child support. We need you to pay it. Your checks are about to start getting garnished. It was funny, but I was kind of hurt with her response. It was a reaction, but her reaction was, those are his kids. Those not mine.
And they married.
They're married. Those his kids. And I'm like,
my mind, they be,
See, that's
like, how do you even
that's stepmom. That's not Love Logical
mom. And I can imagine. I'm not sure what their relationship is. Some people are okay with that terminology and that way of going about family, and it just don't sit well with me. I'm like, hold up. First of all, you should be helping him pay that child support. It's coming out of both of y'all pocket anyway. And second, I guess they were saying that he wasn't it didn't make sense at all. I'm like, first, these are when y'all decided to say I do before me and him even made it official. His were mine, and by any means necessary. Hair done, clothes, feeding, watching, getting picked up, whatever it is they need.
You do what you have to do because that's what you're supposed to do when you're in each other's lives.
Yeah, man. You could do that before you say I do. That show you a lot of what you better move forward with.
And to those parents out there who may be in that situation right now, give that other, as long as if they're in your child's life,
get to know them.
Be intentional of getting to know them. If they're not,
for the money,
right,
go sit down and have coffee.
Yes, be friends with that
coffee.
The inside is more important than outside.
Yes, be friends with that whoever your previous ex's girl is or woman guy is, be friends with them. You never know. That's
the history repeats itself.
Yeah,
especially if anytime my child is going to be around someone, I do want to get to know that person.
It should be all the way around.
My ex-husband, he was dating a woman years ago when I was living in Evansville, Indiana, and she came to the house. So, we had a chance to meet. And she actually taught me how to reupholster my dining room chairs, And it's like, I want to meet people, but he's met women who refuse to meet me. And that's when I would say, okay, they don't need to be around her until they can respect me.
Right.
Because if you can't respect me,
how
can I trust you to respect my child?
Right.
And there were times where my daughter would come home and tell me that this woman acts like she likes me, but then when daddy's not around, She's different.
So
And
hurtful.
that, to me, that, you know, that's where you have to step back and say, listen, you're in someone, you have this person in your life and she's not respecting, you know, our daughter,
Right.
you know, and
Right.
if someone can't respect your child or give you respect, you have to be careful, especially in today's world. So many people are hurting kids.
Oh yeah,
They're hurting kids. They're being mean and vindictive.
And now kids are being retaliated too.
They
as
are.
kids
Yeah.
because of things. And nowadays, it's not like you wouldn't dare have heard, kids and probably, I'm sure, nothing is.
The way they attacking their parents.
Yeah, but now
no, we were scared. No, in my age, we were scared of our parents. If I would have came at my mother and said something that I was gonna hurt her or act like I was gonna do something, I would be sitting here right now because I would have been a gravestone in the cemetery.
My math teacher used to do my butt with a paddle. I
had that too. I had that too.
Now these days it's like
we don't have the generation of being paddled in front of the classroom anymore because our children are more sensitive now. They're much more sensitive to a lot of different things. So we have to be careful of our children's psyche now. And the children see so much.
They see and
know so much.
A lot of parents don't take that into consideration when they're trying to argue and like in front of the kids. Like although like kids eavesdrops like they nobody's business now.
They hear everything. My 4-year-old granddaughter is living with me right now with my son. And it's so funny because she hears and repeats everything. You know, so you have to be careful. And I know when my son and his wife, they were having, problems, I would tell him, don't talk about her mother negatively in front of her. So that it's stopped now. And that makes a difference because by him not doing that, I've noticed that he does not talk about his ex-wife in a negative way at all. And I see his love logical heart that he's always had is flowing back in again. Because he's been there since July now. Lost my sound on this side. There it is. Yeah, he's been there since July now, and I'm so glad that love logical heart is flowing back in, and that it's being instilled in my granddaughter because her mom was adopted, and I can tell you she's got awesome love logical grandparents on her maternal side, but. It takes that, it takes the positivity to come from the parents to flow down to the children.
And it's difficult when it don't flow down to the children because now you have, like, sometimes it can be hard in some people cases where the child's mom or the child's dad isn't on that love logical energy.
Right.
And then it's a lot of haywireness and a lot of just disorder, disrespect, the whole nine, simply because of a lack of understanding and a lack of the wanting to understand it, I should say.
Yes.
Because it's not that, like you can keep on saying it to somebody you on the face, but if you don't want to actually get it because of not being over that person or still having hate for that person or hostility instead of actually, all right, look, it's about the kids and that's it. If a person can't let those things go, it becomes difficult and still, again, the kids are affected.
What's really good about this conversation is I've been listening to a book, Blend, by Mashonda. I want to pronounce her. I think Mashonda Teferi is how you pronounce it. She's Swiss Beats ex-wife.
Okay.
And her book Blend just came out in September, and that's been my last few days of is Blend. I would recommend that anyone who is even considering blending or have recently divorced and have children and don't know how to blend, that they read or listen to this book. I like audiobooks now because it lets me hear the heart of the person and not hear it in my tone, in my inner voice, but I get to hear it in their inner voice. And Swiss Beats has a chapters that he wrote for fathers.
That's beautiful.
And
shout out to Swiss Beats. And
shout out,
and
yes,
his
yes,
wife.
and his beautiful wife, because she wrote the foreword for the book.
Beautiful.
And we all know how their whole separation was. It was in the media.
Mm-hmm.
It was negative. It was messy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and how it came together. But then we all also saw the love that flowed between them, and then they became a wonderful blended family that was inclusive of Mashonda. And you know, her and Alicia Keys, they did it for the sake of the kids.
And it probably took time to get there too.
It took them a little time to get there. But I think that her book will make it easier for people to get there. And once you understand the heart of the children that's truly involved in how we have to heal ourselves first.
Oh yeah.
And then step out and reach out to each other once we heal ourselves first.
Because otherwise, go ahead. Otherwise, that energy of not being healed comes across on every situation, like every
situation.
It's gonna come across. You gonna feel it like
yes.
Why did they get up here on 10?
Because you know the intention behind it.
Yes.
And like, hold up, wait. I mean, we have plenty of stories regarding that.
I love the positivity that has come out of their story. I love Will and Jada Smith
I love them.
I love their relationship from day
my favorite
one.
actor and actress.
Diddy. I still old school, still want to call him P. Diddy.
Yeah.
But Diddy and raising his son. You know, Albie Shore's son. You know, Albie Shore and Diddy in the beginning wasn't so good, but then they came together. People nowadays seem to idolize celebrity. That, and in my opinion, if you want to learn how to be blended, let's idolize the celebrities that's given us the positive examples of what blended should be.
Absolutely.
And that's inclusive of the exes.
Absolutely.
And not just ex-wives and ex-husbands, but ex-boyfriends and girlfriends too. You know, ex-boyfriends and girlfriends.
Find out some roots and some history.
Because as long as that respect is there, and it never will matter, as long as there isn't disrespect or the boundaries are kept, respect, like all of that, everything else can flow. Because I don't mind. I'm sure he wouldn't either if we had came across I don't really have exes. He's my first actually. This is my first relationship with kids. So before it wasn't that case, but as long as respect is there, that's the core, that's the foundation of love logical families, in my opinion. Respect and, you know, being intentional about it.
Yes. You guys, I met you as a result of Tyrese Barnes-Jones.
Shout out to him.
He took some great pictures. And look at that connection happening.
Yes, forgive me not photos. Tyrese's children are my love logical children. I've been in their lives for 5 years now.
Wow. It was so awesome how they
those are my
about.
babies. They are my children. You know, they've lived in my home. Kayla just graduated from high school this year. We did prom and shopping with her for prom and first makeup, first diamonds, first everything. I cried like a baby.
Don't do that. I mean, we're not trying to look that far yet. We got a 2-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, those hours, and then we have more. We have a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, an 11-year-old, because my daughter, our 9-year-old, she has 2 siblings. Exactly. And they ours too.
Theirs.
Yes.
His, mine, and theirs. Yes.
It's oh man, I look forward to having. I'm not sure if you followed us before now, but recently our 6-year-old was in
I saw that
accident, and it all just kind of firsthand was back in our face all over again. It's like every single time we thought we were coming some steps ahead, it would get like a semi truck just bam.
So it was.
So she's okay now.
Oh,
yeah,
she's perfect
great.
now.
Yeah.
But it was
Picking
kind
up
of the family, family backlash because she was with our 9-year-old extended family, and if they took the time to know us, which a lot of his family haven't, they would know it's always been love. Even our 9-year-old, her other parents, shout out to them, they have always accepted all of his as well. So it's not just even us. So when we move in as a unit, it's like all the kids.
Not Did y'all hear that love logical moment?
Exactly.
All of the kids. All of them, not just Danae. Like if our 9-year-old go over there, they asking about the 6-year-old and the 2-year-old too, and they asking about like, hey, how they're doing? When are we going to see them? Like that's. The kids want to be together. It's the parents that need to step up and let bygones be bygones. Let any hurt, let any animosity, let that stuff go and focus on the kids, the children. They need all the love they can get.
Oh, yeah, they most definitely do. And again, callers, we can call in at 313-729-3258.
We are accepting live callers.
Again, 313-729-3258. You can call in and chime in, any questions or any topic or
last 10 minutes of the show, you guys. Again, that phone number is 313-729-3258. We are accepting live callers right now. If you have any questions that you want to share or give Michelle or ourselves, we are all ears right now.
And Michelle, while if any callers come in or we have you here, I wanted to ask you one question. Myself, coming from a background of foster care.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, and for our listeners, how did you go about being unconditional when you had the foster kids outside of your own kids, or being
in my home when I grew up?
Right. Like, how was that adjustment? How did you continue to be love logical and unconditional and show them that it wasn't separation? Because
I was a child when my mother had foster children. I believe children started coming into our home when I was years old, and I didn't have a problem. And I think the reason why is because my parents never treated me any differently, and they treated the children the same way they treated me. Right. So, and nothing was taken away from me. I had the option of if I wanted to share my room or not. I was asked if I wanted to share my room.
Respect.
By my parents. And I chose to share my room. Taronda,
it was in you.
It was in me. So I was raised with so many kids in our lives. My mother loved people. And my mother was like we had the Kool-Aid house, My mother was the one who all of my friends would sit down and talk to, I did the sleepovers, I did those things, so there was no jealousy, none at all. Did we argue? Yeah, we argued.
But what family doesn't?
Charlene and Taronda are the two that I remember most. Okay. And Taronda and I right now, like I said, we're together now. Charlene, we haven't connected, but I do keep in touch with how she's doing through Morris, who I have connected with. But we argued like sisters. We did. We argued like sisters. And my mother was different, because if you argued and you act like you didn't want to get over it, my mother would make you hug and kiss each other until she got tired. Not till you got tired, until she got tired. And I'm talking about the hug with the
Yep.
Oh, hands up.
And you're literally kissing each other on the cheek, so you turn your head.
Hug hands and sit next, like, hold up, y'all gonna get over this right now.
No, my mama didn't play. I'm telling you, Phyllis Hurd was a trip.
Now, me and him were touching on that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. You asked that more so because a lot of people haven't been fortunate enough to know what love is in order to know how to love unconditionally. There's just
That agape love.
It's just there you go. It's unexplainable.
Yes.
It's unexplainable
Yes.
when you love from a place that sees no boundaries, that has no height, no width, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Express grace, express forgiveness, express gratitude, like that place of love. And a lot of people don't understand that depth
They
of
don't.
how to love like that.
Our children need that in their lives. They need that in their lives.
People,
I'm surprised we don't have any calls coming in.
I know.
Right.
Where are calls
We got
at? Guess they
everybody
gonna
must be
text
I'm
the
surprised they're not
might
calling.
be at work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Friday.
That's okay.
midday
That's
Friday.
okay. I'm glad y'all watch.
Well, we got about
Here I had somebody. Can you guys introduce yourselves?
absolutely. We are Uncut Rose, Queen Janae,
Rose, yep.
King Q. Yeah, she's got her Facebook Live up for our radio listeners.
Yeah.
Thank you, Morris, for asking.
We appreciate you so much because what y'all don't know, she tweaked her schedule to be here today.
We appreciate you so
thank
much
you
having
so
you there.
much.
I was actually going to have lunch with a lady who I met through my Hairfidence event from Labor Day. Hairfidence actually, we did foster children's hair on Labor Day, so that they can go back to school on the first day with Hairfidence. Well, we have Hairfidence, a mini Hairfidence happening on December the 9th at Bee's Vanity Hair Salon. And we're actually looking for other hair salons that's willing to open up on Sunday, December 9th, to volunteer to do foster children's hair.
What time?
Bee's Vanity is going to be doing hair from 8 until 4.
Beautiful.
And if you have a salon and you want to either come into Bee's Vanity as a certified hairdresser, she does have some booths that are available for you to come in that day and volunteer and do hair. Or if you have a salon in Metropolitan Detroit and you would like to open up on Labor Day, we can actually book some appointments for you as well. So come on in for Hairfidence, Hairfidence 2, TOO.
Even if it's donating, utensils, like hair utensils, combs, brush,
that would be
rollers,
awesome if you want to do that.
Hair wrap. I mean, there's a whole lot that go into.
Yes, because we're doing girls' hair, and yes, it does because
Christmas too. So
yes, Bee's Vanity, Betty. I have to give you a shout out. Betty at Bee's Vanity in Oak Park. She was the first salon to sign on to Hairfidence to open up on Labor Day, a holiday, to do children's hair. None of the children that got their hair done had ever had their hair done professionally before.
Oh my God.
So it was an experience for them.
And a memory.
And a
lifetime memory.
And the Methodist Children's Home has been awesome, but we want some other agencies to come on board with us for December 9th. All right.
You heard it live.
All right.
We'll be there.
And if I'd like to have some chair massagers volunteer to come in. I need some barbers. Yeah, buddy. Chair massagers come in and let's give some of these Love Logically fostering moms some back massages. If I can get a few chair massagers to come in for the moms that day, I would truly appreciate it. That's December 9th, and you can give me a call, and I'm going to give my cell phone number. I was told, give my 800-829-0406.
All right.
Or you can contact us at any questions or anything about this event on December 9th, y'all.
Well, before we wrap it up, to close it out, as y'all heard, our topic was love and family. A huge exclusive announcement is that our very own Randy Rosario, Queen of New Detroit, Good Day Goals book is now accepting pre-orders. Set goals and slaughter them. Bam!
November 17th.
Happening right now. Pre-order your book at Good Day Goals. That's a capital G, D, and G. So gooddaygoals.com. Pre-order your book there. Okay. She will also be having her book launch and 4-year anniversary.
4-year.
November 17th, right here at the station from 12 to 4. So be sure to be in the house. Uncut Rose will be there, and we would love to see you, royal Soul's
Yes.
beautiful faces.
Yes,
Let's support
yes,
our
yes.
Queen of Detroit,
Thank
Queen
you.
of New Detroit, Randy.
Yes.
Woo, woo.
We
She
have
is
to support
phenomenal.
each other, guys.
Absolutely.
When I
It's
saw
lack.
someone say, you know, we give baby showers, we give wedding showers, and now people are doing divorce showers, which I don't know
Oh,
about
wow.
that.
What?
But
they
I had
are.
I had someone say, let's give
Divorce?
business
Divorce
showers.
Yeah,
We
it
should
is.
give business showers.
Well, let's do it then.
Because a business shower is someone who's starting a new business.
And needs
Buy their
help.
products, guys.
Mhm.
Buy. Don't expect them to give you their products.
Mhm.
Buy their products to help them get moving. Small
Mhm.
businesses need
Yeah.
to support
There you go.
Small
of the
business.
community
Mhm.
and of other small businesses. You know,
Mhm.
go on lovelogical.com. You'll see that I have the Detroit DNA not required
Mhm.
on the
Yeah,
back.
nice shirt, y'all.
T-shirts. I have the hoodies and the sweatshirts are going to be coming for the holidays.
Mhm. There you
I
go.
have a greeting card line.
You know what? We gonna see. We all about making stuff happen.
Yeah.
We don't just talk about it. We
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
be
Oh,
about
it's
it.
all
So
about
we
actions.
will definitely
Yes.
be connecting and getting our Uncut Rose very first business shower. Let's do it. How
That
about
would
that?
be cool.
How about that?
Yes. I like
We
that.
gonna do that. And
I like
it,
that.
it ain't nothing but just doing it. Like at time and time again, the only thing that keeps us from getting something done is really just doing it. Just
doing it. Take that step.
Taking action.
Yeah. So
Take
we're
that
gonna make
step.
that happen. Look forward to, and that's gonna
So
be
we're
before
talk
the
like
new
we
year.
walking.
And Love
Before
Logical
the
would
new
be
year.
there to
All right.
support.
All right, we're gonna count on that. So our social handles, if you love what you heard today by any means necessary,
Contact us.
please donate whatever you can, whatever is laid on your heart. Love, what is it? Cash handle. There we go. I'm like love. I'm just loving y'all. Don't mind me. But our Uncut Rose is on Cash App is Uncut Rose together.
Yeah.
What if you love what you heard from Love Logical? What is your
My Cash App is Love Logical.
Love Logical. There
Yes.
we go. You
Love
can follow
Logical.
us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube at Uncut Roads. On Instagram, it's Uncut Roads, no space. On Facebook, it's Uncut Roads with the space. And on YouTube, it's the same thing. As well as you can now Google us.
Google us. What's up, y'all? UncutRose.com. We have an online store, and
We're
you
still
can see
putting it
more
together,
about it.
so
Still
bear
looking
with
more
us.
construction, but yeah.
Yeah, it's
When will
under
your store be
construction.
at? When are you expecting it at?
We say within maybe
The next
next week.
Okay,
Because
good.
we got some things on there now,
All right.
so it's ready to go to accept things. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Completely
Yes.
done, not under construction no more.
right.
No, I would like to support.
We
Thank you.
appreciate
I like to
that.
support
And
because you're
you have it
supporting
right
me.
back.
So that's just the way it is.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have to support each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you, Queen. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here. We look forward to having you here again.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I would love
as
to
you
come
see,
back
like
again.
none of this was scripted, you guys. Like,
Right,
this is
right.
all easy.
Right.
Like we can talk about this all day. We didn't even get into the statistics.
Oh man.
No, we
wanted to touch
did,
on
we
them
did,
statistics.
The
Oh, we
statistics
really
of
wanted
blended
that.
families is like mind blowing.
Oh.
So we may do a part 2. We don't know, but y'all stay tuned. Peace, light, love, and balance to you royal souls out there. Much love. This is Queen Janae tuning out.
And good evening, good weekend, and we'll see y'all
What's
here.
your name?
Oh, my name again? LaQuint. LaQuint, everybody call me Q for short, but LaQuint.
And
Michelle Anderson and Let Your Heart Beat, Love Logical, Love, DNA Not Required.
all right, peace out, y'all.
All right, y'all. Next week.
That's it. Woo! I love that. Hey, y'all. We're done now, so we can look at some of these comments real fast.
Okay.
And
What's your name again?
and for
Your name
you, for
what?
our
Oh,
YouTube
for us,
subscribers.
UncutRose.com.
Let me show y'all who Michelle Anderson is real fast.
Sorry.
There we go. There she is.
How are you?
We right at the end.
And our engineer, Boss King over there low. Woo woo.
And Michelle right here for y'all.